I call this the poor man's track saw. As you can see, it's and I have a whole set of these, but this is a 4-foot, I have an 8-foot and a 2-foot clamp that I can use to run this saw through. And what it is a Bosch saw on a slider, and it has in it a very fine-toothed blade making good cuts on plywood. And I use this spacer to align it to my marks, because I know that spacer is exactly the distance between the blade, the edge of the clamp and the blade, which is what I want to know. And so as you can see, I've already run it through and divided this board, or this 4x8 sheet of plywood, in half. You can see the cut mark right there. So I've divided it in half, and now I need to divide the halves in half again for a project that I'm working on for the church. But again, I call this a poor man's table saw because I don't feel safe handling or maneuvering a big 4x full sheet of plywood through my table saw. Even though the saw can handle it, I don't feel comfortable doing it. So I've always used this. I've used this for I don't know how many years. Probably an idea I got on some woodworking magazine 20, 30 years ago on how to break down large sheet goods into something that's, you know, more manageable to work. So I would use this to rough cut something that I was using a plywood for. I'd rough cut it, and then I would feel better about running it through my table saw to make it to the final dimensions. But anyway, pretty straightforward to make. You can see how it works with the clamps and the saw. And then underneath it, all it is a folding table. It's got 2x4s, and as you can see, what the screws are set low so that the blade doesn't contact them. Again, you can see a couple times I've set the blade way too deep, but all you need to do is set it just enough to go through the plywood so that you can, you know, all you're trying to do is divide the plywood. So basically, it's just a table framed. And again, the key part is those screws are low, and it's pretty simple joinery. Folding table legs when I'm using it. Obviously, it's set up like this. When I don't need it anymore, I fold it up and put it in a corner where it stays until I need it again. So pretty straightforward.